Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing here in the NASCAR Legends Series, Truck Series, Xfinity Series, as well as Cup Series. But first, we are here to finally showcase all of the McLaren cars next season here in the Career Mode here now, as we got Sam Mayer behind the wheel of the number 66 Aero McLaren Chevrolet Camaro next season, joined by his other two teammates, one of them being still Eric Jones, who returns to McLaren in the number 7 Aero paint scheme. All of these paint schemes were made by Lation now. A great job by him. And of course, you've already seen this last one here, and that is Chase Elliott's number 9 Napa Auto Parts, a McLaren Chevy. So the McLaren reveal is here. I think they all look incredible and cannot wait to see this super team as they are claiming to be on track next season here in the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. So we start this episode, though, coming out into the NASCAR Legends Series. You're getting ready to go green now. Of course, we are not in the playoffs for this series, unfortunately, because we had such a terrible regular season. So definitely a low point of our NASCAR Heat 5 career motives was making the Cup Series playoffs, winning 3 races now, but we couldn't even make the Dirt Series playoffs. So getting underway here, though, from P19, this race actually was horrendous for me. I felt like this was probably the worst race of the season, I think, for myself. Now, as Travis Brown, he started out up front along with Kyle Larson, but Travis actually had fallen down the order very quickly throughout this race, and you're going to see that here in just a few moments' time. But then Dale Earnhardt Jr. would move out to the lead, but Ryan Newman was actually on a tear throughout the field. He was moving his way forwards very quickly now, as a little bit later in this race, now on lap 4, I had gotten into it with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who just drove me into the wall and drove himself into the wall. Even I was trying to turn him right there. I couldn't quite get back to him now, or get into the side of him enough to turn him, sorry. So as we went down into turns 3 now, we were having a whole bunch of contact, and I was just getting run into the side of, run into the back of. It was 3-4 wide at times. It was an insane race, to say the least. Now, as we came through a little bit later, now battling with Michael Cozy Jr. as well as Travis Brown there in Moonhead. But Ryan Newman, he was driving away with the win of this race to lock himself into that final 4 here. So he was looking really good now. Stenhouse now on lap 11 of 13 does the same thing as he did earlier, just drives right on through me. Of course, I'm getting frustrated with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's trying to make it into the final 4 as well, by the way, but at 2 laps ago, I didn't care at this point. I was heated with him. I drive straight into the side of him, put him in the wall, and then out of turns 2, we're going to get clear of him now coming to the final lap of this race. Ryan Newman already now down the back straight away on his final lap here to come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. Stenhouse trying to take a look up the inside as we start the final lap here in the NASCAR Legends Series, and there's a move from Stenhouse. He drills us in the side, getting very heated. You would think we were rivals at this point now, and unfortunately I would have no chance to run him back down through turns 3 and 4. I certainly sailed it off in the corner for a moment there trying to get to him, but realized it wasn't going to work. So we come through to exit turns 4 to finish in a terribly disappointing 17th place here, as Ryan Newman picks up the race victory and locks himself now into the final 4 here in the NASCAR Legends Series with his 5th or 6th win on the season. And of course, at the end of this episode, I will show an updated point grid so you guys have an idea of what in the world is going on here in terms of some content creators trying to get in the final 4, like David Schildhouse as well as Travis Brown. Kyle Larson, of course, trying to get in the final 4 as well, as he came up runner-up to Ryan Newman. So now that we come through into the Truck Series here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway now, as we are just starting well off to the Truck Series playoffs so far, and hopefully we can continue that with this Going Racing team, trying to get our 2nd team championship, I think it would be, if we can pull it off this season. We had subscriber Quentin Dolangowski in the truck for us. I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong. Hopefully I got it right, Quentin, now. But he would start about the midfield for us here in Las Vegas under the lights. So we had some work to do if we were going to get ourselves up towards the front of the pack here. But Quentin, he wasn't wasting any time. You're going to see him get aggressive right off the bat. Force it 4 wide on the very first lap out of turns 2. Makes it work. Gains a few positions. Passes the number 3 there of Jordan Anderson. And he was moving his way through the field very quick, at least on this first and opening lap, but then he makes a mistake through turn 3, gets up into the outside wall. That completely halted his progress there on this opening lap, and then it actually was kind of downhill after this. He had gained some more ground here and there, of course, but he was starting to get really tight at times, and that was making it, of course, really hard to turn the truck for him. So he was having quite the tough time moving his way forwards towards the end of this race, but he was at least up inside the top 10 here in the final couple laps here. Now, as he came through out of turns 4, he was now side by side with the 44 of Natalie Decker, as they came through to cross the line, and then we come through to the final lap of this race, and now he was behind the 40 truck as he came through out of turns 4. It wasn't the best race overall for us, but he had nonetheless come through to finish inside of the top 10 here. So a very strong effort from Quentin Dolangowski here for us now as we settle for P7. Tim Richmond, by the way, wins again here in Las Vegas. He goes all season long without winning, and now the playoffs have gotten underway. He's been able to pick up some wins, but of course he did not make it into the Truck Series playoffs, so he is not going anywhere there with those wins here, as we're now going to jump through into the Xfinity Series here with Paul Menard, of course, behind the wheel for us now in this number 77 Menards Chevrolet Camaro for this Going Racing team. Once again, Las Vegas Motor Speedway under the lights here, getting ready to go green. And Paul, he had qualified similar to how Quentin Dolangowski did there in the Truck Series for us, now about midfield, so we had some work to do. And Paul, once again, not being afraid to get aggressive as well, just like Quentin was there in the Truck Series. So he made the 3 wide move into turns 1, already gained a couple of positions, and then through the center of the corner out of turn 2, he's already going 3 wide again. So he had passed 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7 cars in the first half lap of this race. So it was looking very good, at least in the first opening lap here for us with Menard behind the wheel. But unfortunately, the results really didn't come after that. He made a mistake out of turns 4, got on the outside wall, and then kind of struggled from here on out. So we come through very late in this race, and now he was trying to make a pass on the 10 now as it came through out of turns 4 there. Quinn Helf there in that 10 car, and unfortunately it wasn't enough. Menard would end up coming through to finish, though, inside the top 10 for us here in the Las Vegas 300. So now a P8 finish, and once again a strong race here for our playoffs as Rajal Caruth, though, picks up the victory and locks himself into the next round of the Xfinity Series playoffs. So a strong run, of course, from Caruth there now, as I could very well see him maybe getting called up potentially somehow to a Cup Series team next season if he gets the right opportunity. So we'll have to stay tuned on that now with the silly season news. But we come through into the Cup Series race here now for the first race of the round of 12 here in the Cup Series playoffs, and we are at Chicagoland Speedway for this race. We haven't come here all season long. I haven't had the best history here. Usually I consider a top 10 at Chicagoland to be basically like a race win, so hopefully we can pull that off here today. We come into this round about 21 points above the cut line, so it's definitely going to be a long, hard-fought round, and we started off with a 21st place qualifying effort here for the Camping World 400, so cannot complain too much about that. We hit a 30.676 there in our qualifying lap. Of course, we're going to have some work to do. I know the short run speed in this car is never very competitive, so definitely got to prepare for that and just hope that we can get some long green flag runs throughout this race. As you look at the rest of the order, Chase Briscoe in the Stewart Haas Racing Ford Mustang, who's going to Penske next season, is on pole there as Kyle Busch ends up P2 here as we get ready to go green for the first race of the round of 12. Alright, boys, fresh off of our 3rd win on the season there in Watkins Glen. I mean, if this was a road course, I think we'd have a chance to win. But if we can just get a top 10 today, I'd be really happy and satisfied with that. So let's go have a good one. There, you hear myself on the radio. Would love if this was a road course. I would love if there's just a road course in general in this round. Of course, if we can make it to that round of 8, this is the hardest playoffs we're ever going to go through, I think, in our NASCAR Heat 5 career modes, because we had such a poor regular season performance. We still ended up 2nd in the regular season standings and only lost that championship by a handful of points, maybe 10 points or so. So hopefully we can have a strong effort here, though, in this next round, get to that round of 8 where we have a road course and might have a chance at victory now as the green flag is out, and we are underway for the start of the round of 12 here from 21st position here from Chicagoland Speedway. Already you can see we're starting right behind our rival of Joey Logano now, as Logano, of course, fighting to get into that top 8 as well. Lewis Hamilton on my outside, a pretty decent qualifying effort for him now, as he has not been strong when it comes to oval racing here in his debut season in NASCAR. Can confirm, I think I've said this a few times already, but he will be in the Cup Series next season as well in our career mode. We were already 3 wide, by the way, through turns 3 and 4, and then as we came through out of turns 4, now we might even be 4 wide here as we go down this front straightaway now, as we're going to look to the inside of Brandon Jones. Another playoff driver there is showing a 4 wide with Jones, DeBenedetto, as well as Daniel Suarez. I think Byron was on the far outside there for a moment now, as we settle out 3 wide for the moment, though, as we come through out of turns 2, and sure enough, we're going to be 4 wide again as we go down this back straightaway. So just like we saw in the Truck Series, in the Xfinity Series, with the drivers behind the wheel of our cars, we're not afraid to get aggressive behind the wheel of my own car now as we go down into turns 3. So So making up some crucial positions early on in this race. We passed the 99 of Sam Mayer. As you guys know, he will be on McLaren next season. Now cannot wait to see what he does. Now that Trackhouse car, wide open for the taking. Who's going to go to Trackhouse next season in the career mode? I'm very excited to see who goes there. I'm thinking potentially Ross Chastain could be moving on up now. He kind of got downgraded from Chip Ganassi down to the 47 car, but I'm thinking of upgrading him back to a Trackhouse car here in the next season of the career mode. Now as we came through to lap 7, passing Kyle Larson, we got past Logano, but then I hit the apron, made a mistake. Logano gets to the back of us, nearly crashes himself off the back of my car, makes a good save right there, and then now we would also just continue moving our way forwards. We got to the inside of the 4 car and made a pass on Haley Deegan here and moved ourselves into the top 10 with already over 10 laps to go in this first stage as we now try to run down the 1 car of Noah Gragson for Chip Ganassi Racing, and sure enough we would get to the outside of him here. I decided to actually just experiment a little bit and see what we could do on the second lane here, and sure enough it would actually work out because out of turns 4 we would actually be able to clear Noah Gragson down the front straightaway. So now up into 9th place, and that was honestly a little bit surprising. I felt like we were doing really good at this point. Lewis Hamilton, he had actually worked himself now up into 10th place. Now it's actually a huge hit out of turns 2 out of nowhere. The 20 of Christopher Bell just got a huge hit from Bubba Wallace there. Thank goodness it was on the passenger side. That could have been way worse if it was on the driver's side, but a massive hit out of nowhere. Couldn't quite see what happened beforehand, but obviously it looked like the 20 car had spun out and it was up in that outside wall, and Bubba Wallace just had nowhere to go and just slammed head on into the right side of Bell's car. So caution came out. We had now got back underway with just 2 laps to go, by the way, here in stage 1. So now we got to be aggressive here and see if we can get a few stage points out of it now as we come through turns 1 and 2 right to the back of Denny Hamlin here in his final time at Chicagoland Speedway now. And of course, if I can't win the championship this season in the career mode, I obviously want Denny Hamlin to be able to pull it off now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that as we go down into turn 3. Hamlin has yet to win a Cup Series championship now. Could this be the season as we exit turns 4, now drifting outside of top 10 positioning now, and we're going to lose stage points, and this is simply because the short run speed, as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to Chicagoland, I have no short run speed, and unfortunately we had to restart at a terrible time. We were on track to get a few stage points, and now we are dropping down to 14th, maybe even 15th, maybe even down to 16th or 17th before this lap comes to an end, as Chase Elliott leads the way into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 1. Now De Benedetto passes us, Deegan to the inside, Gregson's going to force a 3 wide. On the outside we're going to be 3 wide in the middle, coming through down the front straightaway to the line. 10th place crosses the line, and that allows us to hold off the 4 and the 1, so we end up getting P16 instead of being probably 8th, 9th or so if it stayed green there throughout the whole first stage. So that was very disappointing to see it end like that, because we know when we come into a playoff round only 21 points above the cut line, stage points are going to be extremely important, and it doesn't help at all when we finish 16th in the first and opening stage. So of course we're going to come into the pit lane, take 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. I was thinking about making some adjustments to the car, and I decided to actually put the wedge down by quite a bit. It went from 49.0 to 48.5, so I don't usually like to make adjustments that large, but I definitely could tell I needed it now, as it looks like everybody gains a spot on the pit lane, so someone had a very poor pit stop here as we get ready to go green for the start of the second stage here from the first race of the round of 12 at Chicagoland Speedway. Now, of course, for the first time in this round of the playoffs, it is time to get amped in Chicago. There you have the amp segment here from Chicagoland Speedway. So not the start we were exactly looking for there in Stage 2, but it could have been a lot worse here as we're still in P14. Chase Briscoe currently leads the way as we exit turns 2 there in front of the number 42 of Tyler Reddick. Now Lewis Hamilton has been running very strong here in Chicagoland. Has he maybe started to learn better with these oval tracks and finally it's starting to click? I don't know. It looks like though he's having a very strong run here today. Now as my Going Racing driver of Daniel Suarez would look to my inside here down this front straightaway with 14 laps to go in Stage 2. We owe him a little bit now as we kind of ruined his chance to make it into this next round by stealing the win away from him last time out in Watkins Glen. So I let him go, but then in turn 3 on lap 4, he actually blows a right front tire and crashes into the outside wall. The caution comes out. Thank goodness I didn't try to battle him and maybe stay on his outside, because then we would have crashed together into the outside wall and that would have been really awkward. So fortunately for Daniel, he is not actually out of this race. So he gets to come back in, put 4 tires on that car, fix it up, put fuel in it, and try to rebound for a solid finish here before this race comes to an end. So everybody else, though, staying out here under this caution flag now as we're going to get ready to go back green. So we're going to be restarting here in the 15th position. So on the inside, and we've run some laps here, so hopefully now that we're all grouped back up, now the tires have worn, it will give me a bit of an advantage here, and hopefully we can make up some crucial positions now with 10 laps to go in the second stage as we are back underway. Chase Elliott looking very strong here so far in the second stage. Of course, he won the first stage here. Now, I don't really think, honestly, he has the best car, but he's just placing his car in the right position now as he's in front of that number 7 McLaren of Ryan Blaney. Of course, last episode you guys saw Ryan Blaney's number 25 Hendrick Motorsports car that he will be driving as our teammate next season in the career mode. Cannot wait to see what Blaney is going to be able to do now. In the career mode, there's some contact with Lewis Hamilton and Harrison Burton involved as well as we came through out of turns 4 on lap 9 coming to lap 10. And then I cut down onto the apron to look up the inside of Eric Jones there in that 02 car. Jones will not be in the 02 next season. He'll still be on McLaren, just rebranded as the number 7 now, as Hamilton was able to look up my inside there out of turn to get back on past me now. So Hamilton doing a really brilliant job here so far. I was really happy to see this because I've been wanting to see Lewis get better at these ovals, and finally we are seeing that here today in that first race of the round of 12. And speaking of 12, with 12 laps of fuel in the car, we're going to get a caution as we run in 12th place. A lot of 12s going on, but now on lap 12, by the way, as well, I think it is, of stage 2. So we're going to actually be staying out once again now. No reason to come into the pit lane now as we have an opportunity to pick up some stage points potentially. Unfortunately, though, we are going to be restarting on the outside. So that is, of course, not where we want to be. And then we have our rival of Joey Logano on our inside. I think I've really done a solid job of adapting to Joey. Finally, we've, of course, had our moments this season, but we've just kind of gotten used to his presence of now we know he's going to run into us when he's around us. So I think I've done a really solid job of learning to race around him, and we really haven't had to deal with him too much this season. And just really hope that if we once again make the Final Four this season, we just got to hope he's not in the mix in that race and doesn't end up completely messing over our chances at a championship. But now on the exit of turns 4, coming to 2 to go with this second stage, we were 3 wide in the middle here between our teammate of Alex Bowman as well as Denny Hamlin. Bowman will return to HMS next season. In the career mode, some contact with Hamlin. That kind of messed me over more than it did him. He makes a really good save. He was slipping and sliding, drifting around pretty much the whole turns 1 and 2. And then Harrison Burton on my inside as well. We were 3 wide in the middle as we went down into turn 3. Nearly had a chance to get down in front of Burton, but couldn't quite get there. So now Kyle Busch leading the way out of turns 4 down this front straightaway to start the final lap of this second stage. We get past Austin Cindric, another driver trying to make it into that round of 8, just like Joey Logano as well as Denny Hamlin, myself, and that 19 of Harrison Burton. So we've got some playoff drivers that are outside of the top 10, and then through turns 1 and 2, the outside just doesn't work very well. Logano is at 10th position there for that final stage point. So we have a huge run, though, down the back straightaways as we go down into turn 3. We clear Burton. We send it up the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano, and out of turns 4, it looks like it's going to be very close quarters now as we go down this front straightaway. Hamlin there going to hold us off in P9, and sure enough, we actually do manage to get Logano at the line and get 1 stage point here for P10, so I was pretty happy with that. Of course, it's only 1 point, but at the end of this round, when we have Darlington, we have Talladega, that 1 single point could make a very large difference in what happens and who advances into that round of 8. So, of course, we're going to come back into the pit lane, take 2 cans of fuel as as well as for fresh tires, and get ready to go back green here for the start of this third and final stage here from Chicagoland Speedway. Daniel Suarez has rebounded up to P26 after he plowed into the outside wall after blowing that right front tire earlier in stage 2, so we'll see what he can do in this third and final stage as we gain 1 spot and now move up to P9 on the inside line here for stage 3. So now we are in pretty good position. We know the short run is going to, of course, be the rough part for us here of this third and final stage, but if we can just hang on here, we'll be in pretty good shape. The goal really was to just remain in the top 15 throughout the probably first 10 laps here, and then after about lap 53, we're just going to have to try and make it all up and hope we get a good finish out of it. Now, as Logano, our rival, was having a chance to get to the back of me, Hamlin kind of cut him off, but now as we go down this back straightaway, I thought about taking it 3 wide, but now actually we are 3 wide with Timmy Hill as we go down into turns 3. Hamilton there trying to make a move up the inside of DiBenedetto. Logano gets to the back of us here as he's going to push us out of the way, out of turns 4 wide for a very short moment. Logano slams into the side of us. Elliott there on the far outside nearly got a piece of myself and Logano going at it as I almost pushed up into the 40, who would have pushed up into the 9 there, but Kyle Busch leads the way through turns 1 and out of turns 2. Now Stenhouse, of course, in the 6 car, he's going to look up my inside as well as we go down this back straightaway 3 wide behind us between Tyler Reddick, Harrison Burton, as well as that 11 car of Denny Hamlin here as we go down into the corner, now clear of that 6 of Stenhouse. So now we just try to kind of calm down, settle down, and then focus on getting back to that 22 of Joey Logano and moving our way back up towards the top 10. I said at the beginning of this race, a top 10, I would consider that to be like a win for us here today from Chicagoland Speedway. And now here we are on lap 45 trying to make that happen. Out of turns 4 side by side with Joey Logano. Of course, this is not the guy you want to be battling with, but he was making it really easy for me to get down on the bottom and potentially make some moves here. Now as actually we come together down into turns 1, Logano, he's going to go for a bit of a slide. He's actually going to go all the way up into the outside wall. That allows me to get clear of him as we exit turn 2. A couple playoff drivers going at it very hard here, getting physical. Logano's going to push us all the way down the back straightaway into turns 3. He goes a little bit higher than I do, and that allows me to stay clear for a brief moment, but he's going to have a huge run out of turns 4 down this front straightaway. So now Logano's going to go to the outside. I said, you know what, I'm just going to let you have that outside. You can do whatever you want for now. There's still 21 laps to go in this race, but look at the gap between myself and 9th place. That was a bit of a concern, of course. And then out of turns 2, unfortunately, actually, I did not expect this. Logano, he would actually get clear of me as we make some more contact. Then on lap 48, down the back straightaway again, I had another opportunity to look up his inside into turn 3, so we would sure enough take that opportunity. And now as we come through the center of the corner, out of turns 4, we are going to get clear as we come through. And this time I decided to throw a block on Logano. I'm blocking him all over the place here to make sure he does not get to my inside, to my outside, because I'm confident that the tires were now starting to play into my advantage. So I was doing everything I could to stay in front of him there. And sure enough, we would do just that and finally get clear. And then a little bit later on lap 53, he had started to fade down the order. Daniel Suarez, he had gotten up to P11, had run myself down. I had to really get out of the throttle out of turns 2 because the car got a little bit tight and he was going to get past us now. But then Kyle Busch, he was battling for the lead with now Matt DiBenedetto in the 10 car who had driven up there to the front of the pack. So myself and Suarez, we were actually kind of tandem drafting. I was pushing him down these straightaways, and that would allow both him and I to run down Alex Bowman here as we came through out of turns 2. So now on lap 56, a little bit over 10 laps to go still in this race, and we were 3 wide for a moment there with Bowman and Suarez. Suarez gets clear for P9, and eventually, sure enough, I would be able to as well get clear of Alex Bowman here as we come through out of turns 4. We had a nice little side-by-side battle here for a lap or so, but then on lap 58 down the back straightaways when I would finally clear that 48 Ally Financial Chevrolet Camaro there for Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, you guys know Jeff Gordon taking over Hendrick Motorsports next season in the career mode to be Gordon Hendrick Motorsports or Gordon Motorsports. Still haven't officially decided on a team name, but now lap 61, it was time to come into the pit lane for a green flag pit stop. Absolutely crucial that we do not speed. I was a little bit close there now as I was really struggling to slow the car down, but when I kind of got on the apron, it really helped me to slow it down. So we come through into our pit box, only 3 seconds on the pit lane, and here we are battling for the lead with Matt DiBenedetto all of a sudden. This is because they, I believe, took 1 can of fuel and 2 tires. I took half a can of fuel, no tires, because I was trying to get whatever position I can, and if we don't have a late race caution that forces overtime, we should be able to make it to the end of this race. Fuel is not the problem here. It's going to be the tires now, so I took a risk, playing this now because we need the extra points just because you don't know what's going to happen here in the coming races. So now on lap 63, we passed the number 14 at Briscoe, and we passed Kyle Busch, who was leading at the start of the cycle. So we are going to end up cycling out through a round into second place behind Matt DiBenedetto. But as you can imagine, with these guys having fresher tires, I of course had absolutely nothing for them. So the 18 of Kyle Busch, he was running me down incredibly fast, and with 3 laps to go, he would just blow my doors off on the inside. I had no chance against him. We were now dealing with lap traffic here in the final couple of laps in this race. DiBenedetto now trying to hold off Kyle Busch as he tries to run him down in the closing laps now, as we were just trying to hang on to them, obviously having absolutely nothing for them here. So now just trying to at least stay in that draft, but now with 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap, William Byron, who's a lap down, a playoff contender in between Kyle Busch and DiBenedetto, out of turns 4. We're coming to the final lap with 4% on the right rear tire. The field is close, not close enough. We will make it on field, but will the right rear tire make it here? As now that is all that matters if this gamble is going to work. 3% on the right rear tire as we exit turns 2, 2% on the right rear tire. No cinematic camera here for the finish. We're just worried about making it to the end on that right rear tire. DiBenedetto to the top, Kyle Busch to the bottom through the final corner. 1% on the right rear tire. We got the 21, the 23 coming into the pit lane. DiBenedetto holds off Kyle Busch to win, and we cross the line with 1% remaining on the right rear tire in the Camping World 400. So the gamble to take no tires pays off and gets us about 6 or maybe even 7 extra positions at the end of this race. I was shocked that we did not get a caution there in stage 3, especially at the end of that race. So that worked out perfectly for us, and we are going to gain some points. That's going to help us with the cut line situation. You're about to see that right here on the screen. Some playoff drivers had some trouble, had some rough finishes, so that's going to help us even more as well, of course. So here is the playoff grid for you guys to look at right now. So we came in 21 to the good, and after today we are now 40 points to the good. We gained 19 spots, or 19 points. That still isn't fully safe. I'm not very comfortable with that, considering we have Darlington, where I've struggled, and Talladega. So William Byron out by 2, Keselowski and Jones out by 6, Bubba Wallace out by 20. So some work to do for Bubba. You saw him coming into the pit lane there in the final couple of laps. So something had happened there. Maybe they came in the first time, realized they couldn't make it, so they pitted again. So you saw briefly there the NASCAR Legends Series point standings. There is the Truck Series point standings. Our team is 12 points to the good with 2 races left before the Final 4 cutoff. There's the Xfinity Series grid going into the Charlotte Roval. Our team is only 1 point above the cut line, going into an eliminator race at the Roval, by the way. And there is that cup grid one more time. DiBenedetto, his 2nd win on the season, locks himself into the round of 8. So that's a bit of a shock there. Didn't see that one coming. And then you see once again Bubba, Brandon Jones, Brad Keselowski, as well as William Byron all on the outside looking in. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode. And of course, would like to say thank you to the Go On Racing members. And of course, thank you for just being around, everybody, for 200 episodes here of the career mode, by the way. But thank you to the Go On Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, as well as King Matt XL. You guys help me out so much, and I really do appreciate every single one of you, just a part of the community in general, for sticking around for 200 episodes here of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. I'll see you guys in the next one from Darlington. Have a great day, everybody.